The artist I chose to talk about was John Lasseter. He was born on January 12, 1957. He's a film director, producer, screenwriter, animator, voice actor, and the head of animation at Skydance Animation. He was previously the CCO of Pixar Animation Studios, Walt Disney Animation Studios, Disney Toon Studios, as well as the PCA for Walt Disney's Imagineering. He's married and has 5 children, and he's worked on several Disney Pixar movies you may be familiar with. He was fired from Disney due to misconduct in the workplace, and the last Disney Pixar movie he worked on was Toy Story 4. So now the works I'm going to talk about. First one being the Fox and the Hound film from 1981. He was the animator, and it was his first film to animate. I chose this one because this is an old school Disney movie, and it was made in the beginning of the Disney Renaissance, and it's something he animated that was the original 2D animation that isn't really seen nowadays. The second one is The Adventures of Andre and Wally B. It's a short film, and it was made in 1984. He was the character designer, and he also created the entire short film itself and the concept. Although it was the first one and should be recognized, I don't like this one because the bee is unproportional, and I just don't like how the background is realistic and the characters themselves aren't, and it just doesn't match to me, and it's really not my favorite, but it's just something to talk about because it was the first one that he worked on that was a short film by Pixar. Next one is Luxo Jr., which was a short film from 1986. John Lasseter was the designer, animator, director, producer, and writer. And the reason I wanted to talk about this one is because Luxo Jr. is the mascot of Pixar, and it's recognizable by everyone. And I just enjoy it. I love Luxo Jr. It's just funny how he made an inanimate object come to life and have feelings, and it's just memorable and iconic. Next one is Knick Knack. It's a short film from 1989. John Lasseter was the animator and modeler. I like this one because of the colors and the theme. I also like how it's funny because the snowman is trying to escape his snow globe and he just can't, and it's actually a short film that has a real storyline, and it's amazing how they fit it into a short few minutes. Unlike Andre and Wally B, it didn't really have a storyline that was memorable or made sense. So I find this to be my favorite short film. And the last one I want to talk about is Toy Story, which was the first ever fully animated CG feature film from 1995. John Lasseter was the animator, director, modeler, and writer, and he pretty much created Toy Story. And I want to talk about this because it's not only my favorite Disney Pixar movie, but also just how the animation style and art was in the first movie to what it is in the final movie. It's just different, and you can tell John Lasseter really learned over the years on animating and rendering and cleaning up his characters, because Toy Story 1 looks a little rough compared to Toy Story 4, and you can see that with other Pixar films over the years, how they start off looking a little rough, but over the years become better in quality. I chose John Lasseter because, for obvious reasons, I love Disney and Pixar. I also love digital work, and he was one of the founding fathers of digital art and animation. And considering I almost went to college for animation, it's kind of nice to know a little bit about animators who work in the industry. He also was an advisor for my dream job. I want to be an Imagineer. That's my dream job. And considering that he was an advisor for it, it's something to really consider for myself when thinking about him as an artist. And also, although he no longer works for Disney, he's still responsible for a lot of digital art history that should be recognized. So he pretty much is the creator of 3D animation. So he definitely should be recognized for his works in Disney, even though he no longer works there. And that's everything.